Throughout history, some albums have changed the course of music forever. But what if I told you that even with all their brilliance, one of the greatest bands of all time might have made a crucial mistake? Legendary producer George Martin once hinted that there was one decision the band may have regretfully overlooked, one mistake that could have been avoided. But what was it? For George Martin, it came on one of the most ambitious and diverse albums in music history. An album that showcases incredible songs, from rock and roll to folk to experimental sounds. But before we dive into today's topic, we invite you to join us, our internet musical global family of friends that we call the I Love Music Army, where we read every single comment and we look forward to reading what you have to say about this video. So what was the biggest mistake George Martin thought the Beatles made? It was the White Album, which is interesting because it's often hailed as one of the greatest albums of all time. However, its length and variety have always sparked debate. Not everyone was convinced that all the tracks belonged on the same record. George Martin, the man who produced nearly all of the Beatles' albums, once shared his candid opinion about the White Album. He felt that it was somewhat overstuffed, filled with brilliant songs, but also many that could have been cut or saved for different projects. He reportedly believed that the album was too sprawling, maybe too long for its own good. But why was the album so long? Well, the context is important. In 1968, the Beatles were exploring new musical territories. Each member was eager to experiment. This diversity was both the album's strength and its challenge. George Martin's opinions points to the common debate: would the album have been better as a single cohesive statement or as a sprawling masterpiece? George Martin also believed that Hey Jude, the Ballad of John and Yoko, the Old Brown Shoe, the single version of Revolution should have been included on the album instead of some of the experimental tracks that was put on the album. But what do you think? Would the White Album have been even more iconic if it was a single LP? What songs would you have on it if it was a single LP? Or does its variety make it a timeless masterpiece? Drop your thoughts in the comment section where we read every single comment, and we would thoroughly enjoy reading what you have to say about George Martin's thoughts on the White Album. And while you're down there, we invite you to join us, the I Love Music Army, where you'll get more great videos just like this one, and turn on that notification bell for more fascinating stories about your favorite bands and artists. Until next time, that's it from the Steve Champagne Radio Show.